What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about Ethereum today, ETH USD. Hit that like button, subscribe if you want to see more content like this, and let's get into it, my friends. It is the 21st day of November, and here we are sitting at about $2,766. A low today at 2620. 2620. Coincidentally, this Fibonacci stuff seems to work out every now and then, man. Coincidentally, from a low to a high, it is right there, smack dab, couldn't be more perfect at the 0.5, right there. And typically, again, the structure, the kind of quote-unquote schematic for how you, it's not always 100% how this happens, but in this scenario, this is typically what happens, is that you go from your 382 to your 236 and then down to the 0.5. And then maybe we found your low, but statistically speaking, it's more probable to find resistance at the 382 and then work your way down to the golden ratio. Find support, find resistance somewhere up here, and then continue to go lower if we're projecting lower prices. I personally, at the moment, I'm not confident that Ethereum goes down here. But just typically, if you are expecting a retracement, this is the structure that you would see, right? It's actually very common behavior. Right here could be the low. The 0.5 could be the low. This is absolutely the minimum requirement. Whenever you hit the 382, reject the 236, and you come back down, the minimum requirement is the 0.5. So we've hit that. To validate this as a low, what we need to see is a close above the 236. You need to close above $3,667. Once you close, and again, the word close is important here. You have to close above it. If we wick above it and then we close back below, that would be intimidating, especially if we start moving lower. That'd be very intimidating. That'd make me scared. If we wick above it and then we come back down, and the next day we wick above it, we come back down, the next day we wick above it, we come back down, I still wouldn't be impressed. We need to close above $3,667, the 236 there, roughly 3,700. When we get a day to close above that level, we validate the low. Whether it's here, whether it's here, whether it's here, whether it's there, wherever it might be, that's the level that validates it, okay? And as we go lower, if we go lower, you know, there's other areas that can get you excited about finding support as well. But for right now, for what we have, the 236 is the primary focus. 3,667. Let's just call it $3,700. Okay. I want to look at the short-term stuff. I want to look at the indicators and see what we're seeing here. I have a very strong belief right now that the markets are going to snap back any moment. I think I'm different though in the thought than most people have for crypto, right? Most people are thinking one of two ways right now. One, this is the beginning of the bear market. Maybe we'll have some volatility along the way, of course, but we're going to go lower, right? Most people are thinking this. The other side of what most people are thinking is we've dumped so much, we're still in a bull market. This is fake price action. When we come back, it's going to be like this. I'm in the camp of belief it's in between. I don't think that I do think that we're in like fake price action, kind of, right? It's real price action. I wish I sold up here. We could have bought down here. It is real price action, but I just mean I think that it's a coordinated, manipulated effort moving down. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you must not have seen my most recent video I posted on X here and on YouTube that says, why is crypto crashing? I know why it's dumping. The reason why is because it's a coordinated effort, you guys. The writing is on the wall. Absolutely is. Check out that video if you haven't. But beyond that, I think a lot of people, because of that, are expecting that we're going to have some kind of rapid recovery. And maybe we do. I think the recovery will be immense. I think it will be intense, and it'll be absolutely spectacular. But typically in moments like this, what we'll see is really maybe an initial rapid recovery, but then consolidation. I wouldn't be surprised if we were in these areas below $4,000, but above, let's say, $2,900, $3,000. I wouldn't be surprised if we were in this area potentially for the rest of this year. We typically consolidate for a month. It's anywhere from like 4 to 8 weeks that we consolidate, and then we move higher, right? Where it's nobody's right. The perma bears who think that we're going to crash and go to zero, they're not right. The people who think we're just going to rip to the upside because we moved down so much, shorts are heavy, so we're going to get a massive short squeeze that sends us to new all-time highs, they're not going to be right. The people that are going to be right, I think, are the ones that are in between. And that's where I'm staying. What I will say is we could see recovery from here. That takes us up to 3,600, 3,700. We could get up to here and still go lower and still see new all-time highs after that. We can see some wonky stuff happen, you guys, okay? Whenever we stopped here and we consolidated, everybody thought this was the low. This was a higher low to build off of. Once we saw a lower low, it's over. The structure's broken. It's a bar pattern. We're going to zero. And then boom, then we moved up. Maybe we have to do the same thing here. Maybe we consolidate, and then a month later we take out that low, and then that's the low, and then we move up. You know, maybe it's exactly like that. But time will tell. That's my suspicion at the moment. I had the same suspicion on the 10th of October, and I was right partly, except we called a breakout to the upside, not to the downside. We're doing the same thing now, the exact same thing, and still calling for the upside. Hopefully not the downside. Hopefully not. I'm actually thoroughly surprised that we moved down all this way. But again, looking at the fibs, it should have been obvious. 382,236. I sat down. Shout out to Colby if you're watching this. I sat down with a friend and literally showed him this chart, and I was like, I don't believe we were up here. And I'm like, I don't believe we're gonna go down to 2600. But that's just what the chart's saying. And we both kind of like laughed it off. But man, the charts don't laugh so much, do they? Let's look at the 1 hour time frame. We'll zoom out from there. Okay, 1 hour time frame here. A lot of volume. Look at this. This is great, actually. Look at how much volume there is. Selling off. A lot of volume. Selling off. A lot of volume. Selling off. Less volume. And we're building volume as we're moving up. We got a lot of volume at the low itself. Instead of progressing lower, we're consolidating. We might be getting some serious buying pressure here. That's what I'm assuming is happening. 1 hour time frame, looking at the RSI, there is some bullish divergence. We've seen that move play out though. We can go higher, but if you're counting on the price to move up because of this bullish divergence on the RSI, just understand that move as of now has already worked itself out. So if you're counting on that to be your secret sauce, the secret's out. Stochastic suggests that we go higher. The MACD also suggests that we go higher. So higher we go, where might we go? Well, from here, I think it's quite obvious we could be setting up for a inverse head and shoulders pattern, right? Kind of looks like an upside down dong. If we're looking at this here, the price that I would assume we go to is somewhere around $2,900. Now, sometimes and oftentimes enough in crypto, we do get slanted patterns. So maybe it's a slightly lower low or slightly lower high. Maybe it's a slightly higher high, but something around, if not directly at $2,900 should be where we're going from here. That's my suspicion at the moment. Okay. Does that mean that we can't move lower? No, we could go back down to 2,700, 2,680 first. I doubt we take out this low, but we could go lower first and then work our way up. It doesn't have to be an immediate straight shot up now. So if I'm calling for prices to go higher and we're down 1% after making this video, don't come on here being like, oh, we moved down. I get those clowns every time. I'll call for Bitcoin to move up or move down. It moves 1% in the opposite direction, and then they come out and they'll be like, oh, you were wrong. But then 2 hours goes by and it actually goes the direction that we were thinking it went all along. Don't fall for that here, okay? Calling for it to go up just because you watch the video and we're below 2750 doesn't mean that it's invalid, okay? It takes time, a little bit of time. We're on the 1 hour time frame. It shouldn't take much time, but depending on when you watch this video. Looking at this, I think, again, just right here, man, 2,900, we might not even stop at 2,900. Maybe we do just rip all the way up to about 3,000. Psychological resistance, last kind of area of resistance here, support right there, and support right here. $3,000 kind of makes sense to me, actually. Looking at the 4 hour time frame, looking at the RSI, we are oversold beyond all belief. The last time that we were this low or lower was all the way over here. And what did we do? We bounced. We actually formed higher lows and moved up higher. Now, to be completely fair, in comparison, this low here, I don't think this low in the RSI should be compared to this low. More likely, this low should be compared to this low. Why? Because this was a secondary low, whereas this is a primary low in the oversold zone, right? Secondary here compared to this, so like this would be secondary compared to these, but do you see what I'm saying? Being in the oversold zone, this would be more comparable to this or this, I would say, rather than this or this. Does that make sense? So let's compare those two areas and just see what we did. Here, well, we found a low, we moved sideways for about a day, and then we moved up. And then we moved down, we moved lower, over time. Here we moved up for a little bit, moved sideways, and then moved lower. So I would say, I mean, that doesn't really help us, does it? Because we moved sideways, then we moved up, we moved sideways, and then we moved lower. It doesn't really help us. So I would just say, I'm sticking with my guns on this. I think that we move to the upside. I think we do. But if we move sideways for a day and a half first, okay, whatever. I would think that $2,900 to $3,000, somewhere in there is our first target area. And we might consolidate more and then push further higher. Stochastics on the 4 hour are bearish, but they're pointed upwards. If we can get them up, that could promote some growth as well. That's nice. Definitely implications of higher prices to come, but it's only from the fact that we're so bearish, right? You can get more bearish. We're in very weak readings. And again, be open-minded. If we see prices that are below 2,600, that's okay. That can happen, and it can happen fast. But likely we will recover. Likely all these targets will happen at some point here pretty soon. I would think we're back above 3. It's the 21st. I would think by the end of this month, we're either back above $3,000 or we've at least interacted with prices that are above or around $2,900, right? We've at least interacted with that. And that's not that hard of a call to make. We're only like $250 away from 3,000. Daily time frame, looking at this, daily RSI is the most bearish that it's been in quite some time, right? This reading itself, that level, that's not what I mean, right? This is not what I mean. We're down here. Oh, we're the most bearish we've been in quite some time. No, we've been down here in November. No, we were down here in September. It's not been that long that we've been in this area. But if we look at this, just look at how you were oversold here, and then it was a long time before you were oversold, and then it was a long time before you were oversold. Now we're getting to consistent behavior. We haven't been this consistently bearish since April of 2025, which was a low point in the markets. That was the low point for Ethereum. And if you're hearing that and you're getting excited, let me pump the brakes on your excitement real quick for you. Let me stomp that out. We got in and out and in and out and in and out 3 times here. We did it. Oh, I guess I was going to say we only did it. We did it more than 3 times, but I guess we technically did this 4 times here, but I guess we did do it really 3 times. There's like 3 pronounced drops. To be completely fair in this aspect, I guess we've done the exact same thing here as we did here at the low points. It actually looks very similar. We continue to move down every step of the way. I don't know. We could move lower. If we do move lower, the price that I would expect that we go to is right at the golden ratio, right at about 2250 to 2050. But I doubt it personally. I doubt that we go down there. I'm just saying if we go lower, that's the time. Understand, guys, if we're at like 2500, that's not going to hold. If we're at like 2400, it's not going to hold. We're going to 2250 or lower, okay? And then that will hold, and then we'll come back up. But I do think this will hold. Crypto throughout this whole cycle, for whatever reason, has been showing a lot of significance at its 0.5 levels. I wonder if we showed significance here. Let's see, high to low. You did not show significance as far as resistance goes on your 0.5, but you did show significance as far as support goes at your 0.5 here, right? And we're finding support now at the 0.5 as well. Let me see another one. Let's take this high. And we'll put it at this low. We'll just see. No significance here at the 0.5. A little bit of support there, but no significance. It's not perfect. It doesn't have to be support just because it's at the 0.5. But again, I mean it. We've seen it a lot over the past few years in this bull market. That Ethereum and other cryptos have found support at the 0.5 and resistance there. So I think that we will. All in all, I'm really just making this video to say, hey, I think this is the low. If it's not the low, we might go a little bit lower, just a little bit. We can go below the 0.5, and that's fine. But if we're at $2,500 or lower, I would say at that point it's inevitable that $2,250 to $2,000 comes into play. But if we can find support here and move up above $3,700, not only do we validate this low, but we validate that we are likely going to see new all-time highs and push well beyond $5,000 from a high to a low here. Should this be the provided low, the expected target outcome would be, come on, man, I'm trying to get it right on the low there, would be anything from 6,000 to 7,300. I personally think that we wouldn't stop at this area for long. We'd probably push higher and go to this $8,000 to $12,000 area. For a long time, we were assuming $8,000 would be the target area. Now I'm starting to think it really will be closer to 10K when we do move higher, whenever it is that we move higher, right? But again, the way that I'm drawing it here makes it seem like it's just going to be a straight line. By the end of December, we're going to be all the way up at 8,700. Maybe. It's not that we haven't moved at that pace before. We've seen it. We've seen that pace before, but it didn't keep up, right? This pace back here, it was on point, but it didn't keep up. I don't think that we'll be at new all-time highs by the end of the year. I would assume that Ethereum consolidates first, and then we move up, okay? That's probably what's going to happen. And January 2026 is likely going to start off with a bang. Either that or 2025 ends with a bang and continues into 2026, but I'm just rambling at this point. I got nothing else to say. I just want to get on here and say I think that the low is in. If it's not the low, it's very, very near the low. And if I'm wrong, in the event that I'm wrong, which never happens, I know, but if this is the first time ever in history that I'm wrong, 2250 to 2050 would be the area that we go to find support. And I would think that this low holds, but we'll see. Anyways, hit the like button, subscribe. Thank you all for being here. I'll see you on the next one. Take care of yourselves, all right?